Hello and welcome to my Yu-Gi-Oh channel. Today we're looking at a brand new card which has come out of Yu-Gi-Oh! 7's The Anime. Now we've seen this actually been shown within the latest episode of Yu-Gi-Oh! 7's, I think it was episode 57, and it's a brand new fusion card. This is metallion asurastar. It's a level 9 light attribute cyborg type fusion effect monster with 2800 attack and 2500 defense. The fusion materials, which weren't made clear actually from the article, are imaginary actor and sword dancer. And the requirement, you can activate this by sending the top card of your deck to the graveyard, and you can choose the effect. So either you choose and destroy one face down card your opponent controls, or choose one face-up monster that's a cyborg type you control. Until the end of the turn, it gains attack equal to the total attack of all face-up monsters that are warrior types your opponent controls. This can be considered quite a niche card. It does require two specific materials, but depending on how they rule in the future, for example, you do have fusion substitute types of cards. King of the Swamp being an example of that. Maybe they're still going to work towards those rulings, in which case you do need to still have one of the right named fusion material monsters, but then the other one can just be something like King of the Swamp, which is actually a bit more versatile and help you go into other fusion monsters. Its attack stat is fine, and also its defense for a level 9 it's okay, it's quite balanced. It does require two very specific materials, and one of them is a level 1 with like 500 attack and defense. The other one has I think 1400 attack, so you do need to run both of those within the deck to stand a chance of actually summoning this card. The requirement, sending a card from the top of the deck to the graveyard, is a minimal risk. There's no cost really to you. It's deck thinning slightly, you might lose one good card, but in exchange this is maybe a decent enough effect that you can actually win within the turn, and then you get to choose the effect from there. Either you can choose to destroy a face down card your opponent controls, be that a spell, a trap, or a monster. So if you've got an opponent's monster that's in defense mode, you can always go for that option. Or alternatively, depending on what your opponent is running, actually being able to take the attack points of all warrior type monsters for the turn, and that actually works on this card, means it can easily become over 5000 attack points if you're assuming that all of your opponent's monsters have a minimum of, say, 800 attack points each, which they probably will do, and you've got three opponent's monsters that are face up. That's a decent enough effect. Its only limitation is that this has to remain as a cyborg type, and your opponent's monsters have to be warrior type monsters. So you do have to be running against specific archetypes and specific decks to trigger off this effect. The other condition being that, as I said before, DNA Surgery as a continuous trap card alternates all monsters to a certain type on both yours and your opponent's field. You cannot have it where your monsters remain cyborg type and your opponent's monsters still become warrior type without having an alternative version of that card. I think they will create one, just because to make this effect more reliable, it's going to need something. It can't just stay as it is, it needs further support. But as the first of a long list of fusion monsters I'm sure we'll get in the future, I'm definitely confident that we will receive something. Even within its own archetype, if we get a monster that can actually change all of your opponent's monsters to warrior types, or something that can alternate maybe yours and your opponent's turns, whereas on your turn they're a warrior type and maybe on your opponent's turn they remain as the type they're desired to be, that's okay as an effect as well, even if you do have to pay life points as a cost. My only concern with this card is this is quite a big step for them to take with Yu-Gi-Oh! 7's. I know fusion monsters aren't groundbreaking, they were seen in the original series of Yu-Gi-Oh! But where will they be taking extra decks to, and how are they going to implement them? So far we've not seen anything or any restrictions to do with extra deck monsters. I'm assuming for the time being, since we've got 3 monster zones, that they're just going to be summoned to the main monster zone. But maybe in the future we might actually get an extra monster zone like the original series of Yu-Gi-Oh! And with the newest Master Duel, or maybe they might just keep it as it is. Potentially they'll just add the extra deck as part of a new function. Maybe we will see Xyz and Synchro monsters in the future as well. I wouldn't get my hopes up too far, just because it's taken them a whole series for them to get the very first fusion monster within the first 5 or 6 episodes of the second season. I'm guessing by the end of this season we will have a long list of new fusion monsters, And maybe in the third season we might start seeing potentially some synchro monsters. So it's all up in the air at the moment. We do have a speculation to look forward to, but it definitely drives me to being a bit more excited, at least to kind of speed up duels a little bit. What do you guys think of this card? Are you impressed and happy about the design? Do you think actually it's decent for an effect? And what do you think of the new cyborg types? What do you think are going to be the requirements to make cards cyborg type? Whatever you think, leave those in the comments down below. Like the video if you enjoyed it, and don't forget to subscribe for more daily Yu-Gi-Oh content.